Back 25 away from 9 o'clock. Let's go to this story now, where no one is going to touch the Ingonyama Trust. Well, that's the assurances from the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal. It does follow reports that the party's Integrity Commission had urged the governing party to repeal the Trust Act urgently. It's, of course, causing a major issue, a big thorny problem in KZN, especially of the late AmaZulu King Goodwill Zwelithini Kabeka Zulu. Even he had to intervene back in the day. Well, let's get the thoughts then of ANC KZN Secretary Bheki Mtolo joining us this morning. Mr. Mtolo, good morning to you. Thanks for your time out of Durban this morning. So it seems ANC and KZN and the governing party itself at loggerheads on this one. Tell us your view about the situation.
No, thanks very much. Greetings to your viewers. No, the governing party, the ANC, is not in loggerheads with anyone. The governing party at a 54th National Conference did resolve on the issue of the ownership of land. Specifically, if you go to the resolution of the 54th Conference, go to the area that talks about traditional leadership. Then if you go there, you will find that the ANC said the state must courageously help change the land ownership patterns by restoring land ownership to the majority of our people who continue to be landless and land hungry. It further goes on to say, to this end, the 13% in the state custody must be transferred to the institutions of traditional leadership to be held in trust on behalf of traditional communities. Further goes on to say, to further engage in a consultative and inclusive process by all stakeholders to decisive, appropriate, and empowering modalities of releasing land to members of traditional communities in a way that will not put such land to risk of medium to long-term ownership loss, insecurity of tenure, and concentration by the trust. That's what the conference said. In fact, the conference said the land that is in the state now, it must take the approach of the Ingonyama Trust, which should be transferred to traditional leadership institutions, but be held in trust on behalf of traditional communities.
Because this issue goes all the way back to 2018. There was this high-level panel on the acceleration of transformation of land. I think it was even off the back of former President Kgalema Motlanthe. So we've been talking about this for a long time. Why then do you think the ANC's Integrity Commission is calling for this urgent repeal of the Act? Where do you think that's coming from?
All I can tell you is that every structure of the ANC is subject or is subordinate to the National Conference. Then all of us, from the NEC, which is the highest decision-making body organ between conferences, and all its organs of the ANC are subordinate to the controlling body, which is the National Conference. I've read through the resolution of the National Conference on the issue of land as it relates to traditional leadership. Then the matter is settled. Then the NEC and all of us, including the Integrity Commission, we have no right to alter the decision of the National Conference.
What is the role of the new Zulu king going to be in this as far as moving forward? Because it was his late father, the late king, that had to deal with this issue, having to get involved in politics, when some saying the king shouldn't get involved in politics. But we could very well see a situation where the new monarch is going to have to do that. What's your view of his involvement?
No. There's no such a thing that the king must not be involved in politics. The king cannot be involved in party politics. But there's no way that the king cannot be involved in politics. The kings of South Africa, when everything was done, the land was dispossessed, they fought many battles. Then the settlers converged and created their own parliament at the exclusion of the majority of our people in 1910 and created the Union of 1910. It was the traditional leadership, the kings, that formed the African National Congress. And then the Zulu kingdom, for example, was among those kingdoms that play a critical role to form the African National Congress. King Dinuzulu, while he was arrested and detained by these imperialist forces in St. Helena, but he did bless the formation of the African National Congress. He even instructed that a president must be sent in Mangaung. Then kings cannot be not be involved in politics. What they may not be is to be actively involved in party politics, but they will be involved in politics because politics is about governing the country, is about economic issues. Then kings can't be spectators. Then that is wrong.
Last question to you. Forgive me, Mr. Bheki Mtolo. Last question to you then, but you are involved directly in party politics. Of course you are. What are you going to do now off the back of these reports? Are you going to be contacting the Integrity Commission to get some clarity on these reports? What are you going to do about this now? As I say goodbye to you, brief answer, please.
There's no need to contact the Integrity Commission. Well, we got a conference resolution. Ours is to implement the National Conference resolution, defend it, the National Conference resolution. There's no need to deal with the Integrity Commission. Ours is to implement the National Conference resolution, defend the National Conference resolution, advocate for its full implementation. That is our duty.
I appreciate your time in speaking to us this morning. Mr. Bheki Mtolo, ANC KZN Secretary, saying no one will touch the Ingonyama Trust. There's no need to even speak to the ANC Integrity Commission because there are policy conferences in place, or conference policies that are in place. We'll follow that very closely, of course, over the next few days.